go fire away.
Chip, what does it take to be a good third down team the way you guys have done so far?
You know, I think we've tried to put ourselves in position by running plays that we know that we can execute. I think that's the biggest thing in third downs is trying to find the plays that your players know already that are kind of pull-based plays that you can fit into third down, and then find ways to win, address it, and hide it a little bit. I think we've done a nice job of that. Drake's made some plays too, moving in and out of the pocket. I think has helped. He can extend plays, and anytime you have a quarterback that can extend plays, those guys have to cover a little longer. I think that's shown a couple times, but I think we've been solid in protections. We've gotten the ball out of his hand pretty good, so you know, so far so good through 3 games. But you know, as the season goes down, those third downs become more and more important. You know, as the bigger the games are. So got to keep trying to find ways each and every week to really just get to the plays that we feel really good about with our personnel.
How does adding Nate to that group stress the opposing defense?
Yeah, that's a huge shot in the arm to get him back. The guy can get open. He's got a really kind of sixth sense or got a feel for just how to get open, run routes, and get himself in position to make the play. He's got, he's kind of sudden. He's got really good change of direction and catches the ball when it hits his hand. So it felt good to get him back, and I think he's a good fit, not only just third downs but base downs as well. And he adds to that room with Kobe and JJ and Andre and the guys that have played for us through the first 3 games. I think he was definitely a positive shot in the arm for us.
We talked to Kobe in August, and he said that he'd been getting a lot of reps on the outside. He's, I guess, inherently a slot receiver. With Nate out there at slot, Kobe was out wide a lot.
Yeah.
How did he handle that, and how long do you think that will take him to maybe be the same guy there in a sense?
Well, and that was the first game. Really, he really got a lot of reps out there. And it's a little different. I mean, because now the plays you've been running for 3 weeks or whatever, you're the outside receivers. You have to process that, and the speed of the game sometimes that's hard. But I thought he did well. Just a couple little things to clean up, but he's a versatile guy, and I think for us to continue to grow as an offense, you got to get your best players on the field all the time. That's what you're trying to do. At the same time, you got to make sure they can execute when you put them in those spots. And Lonnie does a good job of those, really teaching them the concepts, not just teaching them what their assignment is on the play. I think that's a key. We got to make sure they understand the concepts, because as the season goes, bumps and bruises show up, and you have to move guys around. And I think Kobe's very capable of doing that, and he showed that some Saturday.
Chip, Nate was telling us that the first touchdown against Minnesota was not how the play was initially drawn up, Drake rolling out to his right, just hucking it downfield. How many times has that happened in practice or in games where play gets a little off kilter and Drake just makes an elite level play? I mean, you just throw up your hands, chalk it up to
I think when you look at his career so far, just from what I saw last year and so far, that's one of his strengths, is to be able to make plays outside the pocket. And our guys, we've really worked hard on scramble drill. That's something that I think is important. I think JJ showed up at Saturday where he was out there by himself. Drake was going away from the facility, and Drake was coming to him. He turned and acted like he was going deep, and then stopped for him. And then Nate's adjustment as well. All those things are really good. Good job on those guys have executed. And it's something we really talk about a lot. Because I think that's one of the toughest plays to defend is a scramble, right? Because those guys have to hold up longer and have to cover longer. And I think we're getting better in that area and understanding, that the play's never dead with Drake back there. We got to make sure we do our best to get open.
I know you guys have talked a lot about, finding ways to win just however, but with Nate back in the lineup like he was on Saturday, did the offense look a little bit closer to how you envisioned? I know you guys plan on having Tez and Nate kind of being the main guys. Did it look a little bit closer to what you envisioned was?
Yeah, I think so. I'll be honest with you. Minnesota's front was they're pretty good. I mean, we didn't give up on running the football. That's something at the end we actually did well to close out the game. And that's one of the things I was most proud of, is the way we ended the game with the ball in our hand. That's something that's important. You want to do as an offense, be able to do that. Up through that point, it's been tough sled running the ball inside the tackles, and but you have to continue to try that. I think that helps slow down the rush some. Guys aren't as eager to get upfield and get after the quarterback if they know you'll try to run it. And they had a good scheme. They did a nice job. They had, a couple little wrinkles that I thought compared to what they had shown on film. But I thought overall our guys handled it pretty well, and we just kept telling them, keep banging it in there, we'll break one. And then there in the fourth quarter, we had a couple runs to really put the game away, so I was really excited about that.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I know you're talking about, what they were doing with the run and things like that. But I guess with Nate specifically, Did you expect to go to him as often as you did? I mean, it was the 5 targets in the first drive, 21 overall.
You know, not really. I mean, you know, some of that was in pace. We were going fast, and things. The ball goes where it goes then. But you know, he was a big part of our game plan for sure. I mean, you know, if he hadn't got injured, he would have been a big part early on. So it's good to get him back. And you know, the ball just kind of found him on Saturday. But and there was some effort on certain plays to get at the ball for sure, but not a ton. The ball just went to him, and he did a great job running routes and getting open.
In terms of those runs, Chip, is there any point, I don't know, your third series or something, early in a game where you feel like you have recognized or feel like you should know, okay, we're going to run it a lot today, like you ran it a lot, or Saturday, you threw it a lot. Like, is there a point, I know you probably have an idea going in of how you're going to be successful, but is there a point where you try to say to yourself, all right, well, this is the way we're going to have to go with this thing?
Well, those are two totally different defenses. I mean, the structure is totally different.
Right,
So
well, that's
we go into
what I
the
mean.
game, and I think early on you're trying to confirm, okay, they're doing what we think they were. A lot of times you're getting informations early in the game to confirm that. You know, that's what you want to do. And then as you settle in the game plan, you're like, yep, we're right on track. Just keep doing what we're doing. We're going to get to this, or whatever the case. But you're right. Early in the game, it's a big deal for you to confirm that, hey, so your guys can feel confident, you know, on the sideline in between series that this is exactly what we worked on. We just got to do this better and this better. And definitely a big part of the game is deciding, okay, this defense is built to defend this or that, and here's how we can take advantage of it. You know, like I said, 2 different defenses, 2 different weeks, but I think it shows the versatility that we have offensively to be able to run it effectively when it makes sense and throw it as well.
Chip, in terms of play calling, when you had Wayne back in there, did you find yourself on Saturday maybe being more comfortable to call certain sets or being able to call more sets now that he's back?
I don't think so. I think there was some really some effort to get him some touches on certain things, but at the end of the day, the big plays he made were plays that, you know, weren't those plays. You know, a lot of times you get the ball in the middle of the field, or you get, you know, starting series or whatever, you can kind of control where the ball goes, but a lot of times it's just execution. And Drake going through his progression, finding who's open. A couple things he did Saturday, he checked to a play that was good, and we hit it, and so that's continuing for him to grow in that area, and he's doing a nice job of that. And, you know, other than the 2 throws, you know, he played pretty well, and I think we'd like to have those back for sure. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get the ball to our playmakers as many times as we can.
Coach, what is it like to see Nate have an injury early on,
Yeah.
and then to not just finally get his opportunity, but to take such advantage of it?
Yeah, it says a lot about him because he worked really hard to get back, and it was disappointing. He wanted to play in those first 2 games for sure. And he did play, I guess, in a little bit in that out-of-state game, but you know, it was nice to see a guy like him, who's a smart guy, great young man, come here, excited about a year, and then go through that injury and really fight through it. And you know, you could tell when he scored that first touchdown, that was a big relief for him. He was excited about that. He ended up having a big day. So, you know, I think that says a lot about him, and he's a big part of our offense, and we got to continue to find ways to get him the ball.
Max said earlier that he made reference to Andre Green and that catch he almost had. So
Oh, yeah.
I think he said that would have been like a breakthrough type catch. He said he's coming on. How close is he to being the guy that you think he needs to be on a consistent basis?
He's getting closer. I see it in practice. He hadn't done it in a big catch like that yet, but it's on the way. I really believe in him. I think he's a guy that is very talented, and you know, has had some bumps and bruises here and there. But I think he's feeling better about that. I think he's feeling better about his confidence on route running and so forth. And you know, he almost made a great catch. It would have been a great catch. But at the same time, yeah, I think his time's coming. I think he's improving. I think he's continuing to get better and better. You can see, you know, he's in the game, so that tells you we have confidence that he can make plays for sure.
Coach, what do you think that potential is between the relationship with Nate and Drake across the season?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, they've worked extremely hard since Nate got here, you know, through spring ball, through the summer. They have a really good feel for each other. I think it's one of those things going to continue to grow, you know, as the season goes. And I know Nate I know Drake likes having him out there, but you know, all our guys have stepped up. If you look, the ball's been spread around some of the first 3 games. Some of that based on injuries and so forth, or who's not available. But I like that group as a unit. Go ahead.
Matt was saying it almost sounded like a homework assignment where he said you guys might be trying to find 5 plays for a Chris Culver or a Christian Hamilton, I'm guessing, or some of these the young wideouts that you have that just getting their feet wet. I mean, do you view that as a homework assignment? Is that something you're working on in addition to a game plan?
Well, I think so, because they're talented players that, are young players still trying to figure it all out. Some guys come along faster than others for different reasons. We definitely would like to play more guys for sure, but, Coach says it all the time in front of our team. He's like, guys, your coach has got to feel confident that you can go out there and execute and do things the right way. And they are getting better with that for sure. I think Chris he's extremely talented. Christian, they're all going to be really good players. It's just a matter of getting them out there some and those guys execute and get some confidence. And I think with confidence, they'll feel better about executing everything we're doing.
Obviously, still early in the week, but when you're prepping for a team like Pitt, I think it's second nationally in passing yards about 100 million. Is it something as simple as just saying, hey, this game it's going to look like App State, we're going to emphasis on the run? Or I guess what's kind of the mentality or approach to facing a team whose success is so skewed in one facet?
I wish it was that simple, but it's not. I tell you, they do a really good job. Coach Narduzzi, I don't know him at all, but just his reputation as a defensive coach throughout his whole career, everywhere he's been, they've been really, really good on defense. They do a great job of challenging you and trying to affect the quarterback. I think it's really their MO is they're going to be physical, they're going to play fast, they're going to challenge you and make you earn it. And if you're good enough to do it, I think you'll have a shot. And then they mix the looks up as well. So he's a veteran coach and does a really good job. So we're going to have to, really have a good plan, and we're going to have to be able to adjust something because I think he'll always present you some things you haven't seen before.
We've got time. Matt was talking about responding well to positives. Is how he said it. Kind of taking the momentum of the first few wins, and then it sounded like he's being very, kind of detailed and critical about why certain calls are made here, why certain calls are made here, whatever. But what have you how has that kind of looked so far in practice with them, making sure that everyone's not staying complacent and trying to kind of carry over the success of the ACC?
I don't feel that at all. I think our guys do a really good job. He pushes them to be ready to go every day that we go out there. I know in his role, being a head coach, that's something that always concerns you. You want your team to be hungry every week. And it's a long season, it's 12 weeks, but it's a grind. And so I think he's just making sure our guys understand that, we've had some success and done some things well, but we got a lot of things that we can do better. And that's what I see from my seat as well, that at times we've played really well, but at times we've done some dumb things, so we need to improve that. And but each week's it's a different chapter in the book. You're playing a different defense. You're playing. Now we're going on the road. I mean, a lot of factors, and I don't think this team's going to have trouble staying motivated and really wanting to improve. And I think Coach stresses that a lot. Like, let's hold ourselves to our standard. Let's go out every day and let's practice like we want to practice, like we are trying to win a championship and not be satisfied. And I think that's kind of his job, and he does a great job of sending that message each and every week. And I think our players so far have responded.
All right.
Thanks, Chip. Appreciate it.